The African savanna stretches out like a vast, golden ocean beneath a sky painted in hues of amber and violet, its horizon broken only by the silhouettes of ancient acacia trees and the gentle undulations of distant hills. This is a land of breathtaking beauty, where the air is thick with the scent of wild sage and sun-warmed earth, and every dawn brings a symphony of birdsong echoing across the open plains. Here, life and death are partners in a dance as old as time itself, their steps etched into the dust by countless generations of creatures great and small. Every sunrise brings with it a new chapter in the unending story of survival, a story written in the dust by the paws, hooves, and claws of its incredible inhabitants, and in the fleeting blossoms that carpet the earth after the rains. The air hums with the sounds of life, from the gentle rustle of the tall grasses and the chorus of insects, to the distant, powerful roar of a lion that reverberates across the plains. It is a world governed by simple, yet unforgiving rules, where every creature must fight for its place, and where the smallest movement can tip the balance between life and death. On this grand stage, every day is a test of strength, wit, and sometimes sheer luck, as vigilant eyes scan the horizon for both opportunity and danger. The hunters and the hunted are locked in an eternal struggle, each playing a vital role in the delicate balance of this ecosystem, their fates intertwined in a web of survival. A herd of zebra grazes peacefully one moment, only to explode into a panicked stampede the next, as the shadow of a predator falls upon them, while wildebeest brave treacherous waters teeming with hidden dangers. The relationships between these animals are complex and ever-shifting, as herds, flocks, and solitary wanderers converge at precious waterholes, their lives briefly intersecting in moments of tension and truce. An ally in one moment can become a rival in the next, and the mighty can be brought low by the small and determined, as unexpected alliances and rivalries shape the fate of all. This is nature in its most pure and untamed form, where ancient trees stand as silent witnesses to the endless cycle of life and death. The seasons dictate the rhythm of life here, as the land transforms beneath the shifting skies, from the parched stillness of the dry months to the electric anticipation of the coming rains. The long, dry months turn the landscape to a brittle, sun-baked brown, forcing animals to travel vast distances in search of water and grazing land, while only the hardiest plants endure the relentless sun. The coming of the rains transforms the plains into a lush, green paradise, a time of plenty and new life, as the earth bursts into color and the air fills with the calls of newborns and the flutter of wings. But with abundance comes new dangers, as the dense vegetation provides perfect cover for predators lying in wait, and the smallest creatures employ camouflage to survive. Every watering hole, every riverbank becomes a focal point for intense drama, a place where the desperate need for water brings creatures of all kinds into close and often deadly contact with one another. In this world of constant challenge, we witness incredible stories of resilience and adaptation, from the tallest giraffe reaching for the highest leaves to the smallest beetle laboring beneath the weight of its prize. We see the power of a mighty elephant herd, the cunning of a lone leopard, the audacity of a honey badger, and the ingenious defenses of creatures like the pangolin and porcupine. The intricate web of life connects them all, from the smallest ant to the largest mammal, each playing a role in the health and harmony of the ecosystem. To understand the savanna is to understand this complex interplay of forces, to see how the fate of one animal is often tied to the actions of another, and how even in death, life is sustained. It is a thrilling and sometimes brutal spectacle that reveals the true nature of the wild heart of Africa, a place where every heartbeat, every breath is part of a grand, interconnected story of survival. Among the most formidable predators of the savanna is a silent and patient hunter, the African rock python. This snake is a living relic, a creature whose lineage stretches back millions of years, perfectly adapted to the harsh and varied landscapes of sub-Saharan Africa. The African rock python is the largest snake on the continent, and one of the largest in the world. Adults commonly reach lengths of 4 to 6 meters, with some exceptional individuals growing even longer. Its body is thick and muscular, covered in tough patterned scales that provide both protection and camouflage. Its coloration is a masterpiece of natural design. Olive, brown, and tan patterns break up its outline, allowing it to vanish among the grasses, rocks, and shadows of its environment. This camouflage is essential for both predator and prey, as the python must avoid detection by larger carnivores while stalking its own quarry. Unlike many other dangerous snakes, the African rock python is non-venomous. Instead, it relies on its immense physical strength and specialized hunting techniques to subdue its prey. Its weapon is its body, a living cable of muscle and sinew. When the moment comes, the python can unleash astonishing power, coiling around its victim with relentless force. The African rock python is a quintessential ambush predator. It spends much of its life in stillness, hidden in tall grass, underbrush, or among rocks, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. It often positions itself near game trails or watering holes, where animals are likely to pass. Here, it can remain undetected for days, its patience rivaled only by its stealth. The python's senses are finely tuned for this life of waiting. It detects the faintest vibrations through the ground, and its tongue flicks the air, gathering chemical cues that reveal the presence of potential prey. Its patience is legendary. The python can remain motionless for hours, even days, conserving energy until the perfect moment arrives. When an unsuspecting animal comes within range, the python explodes into action. Its strike is a blur of speed and precision, closing the distance in an instant. The python's jaws are lined with sharp, backward-curving teeth. These are not for chewing, but for gripping. Once the snake bites down, escape is nearly impossible. With a lightning-fast motion, the python throws its coils around the prey, locking it in a deadly embrace. The constriction is both powerful and precise. Each time the trapped animal exhales, the python tightens its grip, preventing the lungs from refilling. This process, known as constriction, is a marvel of evolutionary engineering. The pressure is immense, quickly halting the flow of blood and overwhelming the heart. Death comes swiftly and silently with minimal struggle. This display of raw, suffocating power is unmatched in the savanna. Few animals can resist the python's embrace. Remarkably, the python does not crush bones. Its constriction is so efficient that it simply stops the heart, preserving the prey's body for easier swallowing. Once the prey is subdued, the python faces a new challenge, swallowing its meal whole. Its diet is diverse, ranging from rodents and birds to antelope and even crocodiles. The python's jaw is a marvel of adaptation. Ligaments and bones allow it to stretch impossibly wide, unhinging to engulf animals much larger than its own head. Swallowing is a slow, laborious process. The python's muscles work in waves, gradually pulling the prey down its throat. During this time, the snake is vulnerable to other predators. After feeding, the python seeks out a secluded, safe location to digest. Digestion is slow, aided by powerful stomach acids that break down even bone and fur. Depending on the size of the meal, this process can take weeks or even months. During digestion, the python is sluggish and vulnerable, its energy focused entirely on breaking down its massive meal. It becomes a hidden giant, temporarily removed from the cycle of predation. Like all snakes, the African rock python periodically sheds its skin. This process, called ecdysis, allows it to grow and remove parasites. The new skin beneath is vibrant and healthy, a testament to the snake's resilience. The python's life cycle is equally fascinating. Females lay clutches of up to 100 eggs in hidden nests. Unlike most snakes, the mother remains with her eggs, coiling around them to protect and regulate their temperature until they hatch. When the young pythons emerge, they are fully independent, equipped with all the instincts and abilities of their parents. From the moment of birth, they must fend for themselves in a world full of danger. The African rock python is highly adaptable, thriving in a range of habitats, from open savannas and forests to swamps and riverbanks. It is an excellent swimmer, often crossing rivers in search of food or new territory. As a cold-blooded reptile, the python relies on its environment to regulate body temperature. It basks in the sun to warm up and seeks shade or burrows to cool down, maintaining the balance necessary for survival. In the ecosystem, the African rock python plays a vital role. As an apex predator, it helps control populations of various animals, maintaining the balance of the savanna. Its presence influences the behavior and distribution of prey species, shaping the very fabric of its environment. Even in death, the python contributes to the ecosystem. Its remains provide nourishment for scavengers and decomposers, continuing the cycle of life in the African wilderness. The African rock python is a symbol of the wild, powerful, mysterious, and essential. Its story is woven into the landscape, a testament to the intricate web of life that defines the African wilderness. Dawn breaks over the African savanna, painting the grasslands in hues of gold and green. The air is alive with the calls of birds and the distant chatter of a large baboon troop, their presence unmistakable in the open expanse. The baboons move as a unit, their bodies weaving through the tall grass with a blend of caution and confidence. Adults keep a watchful eye on the surroundings, while juveniles chase and tumble, their playful energy a stark contrast to the ever-present dangers of the wild. The troop's strength lies in its numbers and its hierarchy. Dominant males patrol the edges, bearing their formidable canines at any sign of threat, while mothers keep their young close, ever vigilant. Yet, in the midst of this organized chaos, a young baboon, driven by curiosity, edges away from the safety of the group. Its mother glances over, momentarily distracted by the grooming of another. The youngster is captivated by a fluttering insect, its small hands reaching out, oblivious to the world beyond its immediate fascination. The grass rustles softly, masking the subtle approach of danger. For a moment, the baboon pauses, sensing a shift in the air. But the call of adventure is strong, and it ventures a few steps further, unaware that every movement is being watched. Concealed beneath a tangle of dry leaves and grass, an African rock python lies in wait. Its patterned scales render it nearly invisible, a silent shadow in the undergrowth. The python's tongue flicks in and out, tasting the air for the scent of prey. It has chosen its ambush site carefully, knowing that patience is its greatest weapon. Suddenly, the grass parts. In a flash of movement, the python launches itself forward, its body uncoiling with astonishing speed and force. The attack is a blur. One moment the baboon is alone, the next it is ensnared in the python's powerful jaws. The youngster's eyes widen in terror as the world narrows to a struggle for survival. The python's teeth anchor it in place, and its muscular coils begin to encircle the baboon, tightening with each desperate movement. The grass thrashes as predator and prey become locked in a deadly embrace. A piercing shriek splits the air, carrying across the savanna. The baboon's cries are raw and urgent, a call that instantly galvanizes the troop. Instantly, the troop erupts into chaos. Adults leap to their feet, scanning for the source of distress, their calls echoing in alarm. Driven by instinct and the bonds of kinship, the baboons surge toward the commotion, their bodies moving as one, a wave of fur and fury. They descend upon the python, shrieking and baring their teeth, biting and clawing at the snake's thick, armored body. The air is filled with the sounds of rage and desperation. The dominant males lead the charge, their faces contorted with determination. They grab at the python's tail, pulling and yanking, trying to break its grip. The troop works together, each member playing a role in the frantic rescue attempt. Some bite, others pull, all united by a single purpose: to save the young life caught in the serpent's coils. The struggle is intense, the ground churned by the force of the conflict. The python's grip is unyielding, its body a living vise, while the baboon's fury grows with every passing second. But the python's strength is formidable. Despite their courage and teamwork, the baboons begin to tire, their efforts slowing as exhaustion sets in. The python, battered but undeterred, maintains its hold. The baboons hesitate, torn between hope and the grim reality unfolding before them. Gradually, the young baboon's struggles fade, its body growing still within the snake's relentless embrace. The fight is over. The troops' cries shift from anger to grief. Mothers gather their young, and the group huddles together, mourning the loss in a moment of shared sorrow. The python, victorious yet wary, tightens its grip around its prize, ensuring the meal is secure before the next phase begins. Slowly, the baboons retreat, casting backward glances at the scene of their defeat. Their calls grow softer, fading into the vastness of the savanna. Alone now, the python begins the laborious process of swallowing its meal. The savanna returns to its quiet rhythm, but the memory of the encounter lingers, a stark reminder that in this wild land, every day is a test of survival, and every heartbeat can tip the balance between life and death. Along the riverbank, the air is thick with anticipation, a boundary where the ambitions of land and water predators collide in a silent, ancient contest. Beneath the relentless sun, a massive rock python glides through the undergrowth, its scales glinting as it edges closer to the water. Driven by thirst, it moves with deliberate caution, every muscle tensed for danger. The python halts at the river's edge, tongue flickering, reading the air and water for threats. It knows the river is a realm of hidden peril, yet the need to drink outweighs its fear. Suddenly, the tranquil surface shatters. Water explodes upward in a violent surge. A Nile crocodile, perfectly camouflaged beneath the murky water, launches itself with terrifying speed. Its ambush is a calculated risk, timed to catch the python off guard, relying on the element of surprise. The crocodile's jaws snap shut around the python's midsection, conical teeth puncturing scales and flesh. Its strategy is simple: immobilize, then drag the snake into deeper water, where it can drown its prey. But the python is no passive victim. Instinct and experience drive it to fight back, muscles coiling and uncoiling in a desperate bid for freedom. The snake lashes out, twisting its body with astonishing force. Its defense is to constrict, to turn the tables on its attacker by using its own body as a weapon. With a sudden surge, the python manages to loop its powerful coils around the crocodile's head and snout, targeting the predator's most vulnerable points. The python tightens its grip, each coil a calculated move to suffocate or crush the crocodile's skull. The crocodile thrashes, trying to break free, but the snake's constriction is relentless. The riverbank becomes a battleground, a churning, muddy arena where two ancient adversaries are locked in a test of strength and endurance. Each risks everything. The crocodile gambles on its bite, the python on its coils. As the minutes drag on, exhaustion sets in. The python's grip loosens, the crocodile's thrashing slows. Both are battered, their strategies pushing them to the brink. High above, a golden eagle circles, its sharp eyes drawn to the chaos below. The eagle is a master strategist, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Riding the thermals, the eagle surveys the scene, calculating risk and reward. It knows that intervening too soon could mean facing two dangerous adversaries at their strongest. Patiently, the eagle observes as the struggle below saps the strength of both combatants. It waits for the moment when both are too weak to defend themselves. Sensing its opportunity, the eagle locks its gaze on the python, now visibly weakened but still dangerous. The python and crocodile, both drained, barely react as the eagle tucks its wings and begins its rapid descent. With astonishing speed, the eagle plunges downward, talons outstretched. It seizes the python, wrenching it from the crocodile's jaws in a daring display of aerial precision. The eagle hauls the heavy, writhing snake to the riverbank, wings straining under the weight. Its plan is to finish the weakened python on solid ground, away from the crocodile's reach. But the python, though wounded and bleeding, is not yet defeated. Its survival instinct flares, and it prepares for one final stand. With a burst of energy, the python strikes at the eagle, catching the bird off guard. The eagle's calculated risk has become a dangerous gamble. The snake's coils whip around the eagle, pinning its wings and body. The eagle thrashes, but the python's grip is unyielding. On the ground, the eagle's advantage is lost. Its talons and beak are no match for the python's crushing embrace. In a final, tragic reversal, the python tightens its coils, squeezing the life from the eagle. The bird's bold strategy has ended in defeat. As silence returns, the crocodile, sensing opportunity, drags the fallen eagle into the water, claiming a meal from the chaos. The battered python, alone and barely alive, remains on the bank, a survivor of a brutal contest where every move was a gamble and every victory came at a cost. Beneath the dappled shade of an ancient acacia, a lion pride reclines, the air thick with the scent of sun-warmed grass and the low, steady rumble of contentment. The adults, secure in their dominance, doze in the heat, while the cubs tumble and wrestle, their play a clumsy rehearsal for the power they will one day wield. This tranquil tableau is the very image of supremacy. Here, the lions reign, their presence a living testament to the hierarchy of the savanna. Yet, even in this fortress of strength, a single lapse in vigilance can open the door to peril. One cub, driven by the irrepressible curiosity of youth, chases a fluttering butterfly, its tiny paws carrying it further from the protective circle of its kin. The cub's innocent adventure leads it into a tangle of dense scrub, where the light dims and the air grows still. Here, in the cool shadows, a different master of the wild lies in wait, a rock python, its patterned scales blending seamlessly with the earth and leaves, its body coiled in patient anticipation. The python, ancient and cunning, is driven by hunger and the relentless demands of survival. It senses the vibrations of the cub's approach, its tongue flickering to taste the air, its mind calculating the odds. For the python, this is a moment of audacious risk, a bold gamble against the very rulers of the savanna. The reward is great, a meal that could sustain it for weeks, but the risk is greater still, for to strike at a lion is to challenge the pride itself. With a sudden, explosive burst, the python lunges from its hiding place, jaws unhinging to seize the startled cub. Instinct takes over as it throws its muscular coils around the cub, each loop a vice of living steel, intent on silencing the frantic heartbeat within. The cub's high, piercing cry slices through the hush, a desperate plea that echoes across the grasslands. In an instant, the serenity of midday is shattered, the pride's world upended by the unmistakable sound of distress. For the lioness, the cry is a summons more urgent than hunger or fear, a call to arms that cannot be ignored. The pride erupts into motion, a surge of muscle and fury, every member united by a single primal purpose. Their response is immediate, overwhelming, a tidal wave of instinct and power. The mother lioness leads the charge, her eyes blazing, her roar a promise of vengeance. The pride follows, a living storm descending upon the python. In a blur of claws and fangs, the lions become a whirlwind of violence, their unity transforming them into an unstoppable force. The python, once the silent hunter, now finds itself beset on all sides, the hunted in a world turned upside down. The lion's protective instincts burn bright, their rage sharpened by the threat to their young. Every muscle, every tooth, every claw is dedicated to a single goal, the rescue of the cub. They bite and tear at the python's armored scales, their fury relentless, their determination absolute. The python's grip is powerful, but the pride's assault is unyielding, a test of strength and will. The python, moments ago the architect of a daring ambush, now finds itself the victim of its own ambition. Surrounded, battered and outnumbered, the snake is caught in a merciless storm of retribution. The consequences of its gamble are now clear. Against the collective might of the pride, even the most formidable predator is rendered powerless. Realizing its peril, the python's resolve falters. Its coils loosen, its focus shifting from conquest to escape. The gamble, so bold and desperate, has ended in catastrophe. Beaten and bloodied, the python is forced to relinquish its prize, its hunger unsatisfied, its body aching from the onslaught. Driven by the primal urge to survive, it flees, its long body undulating through the grass in a desperate bid for safety. It vanishes into the thicket, the memory of its failed gamble etched into every aching muscle. The lions, relentless in their fury, pursue the retreating serpent, ensuring the threat is banished far from their vulnerable young. Only when the danger is truly gone do they return, their unity reaffirmed by the ordeal. The cub, trembling and bruised, but miraculously alive, is the living proof of the pride's devotion. With infinite gentleness, the mother gathers her cub, carrying it back to the heart of the pride. For the python, the lesson is harsh and unforgettable. Even the boldest gamble can end in disaster when the odds are stacked against you. Though it remains a formidable predator, the savanna is a realm of shifting fortunes, where power is always contested. In this vast, unforgiving landscape, even the mightiest must sometimes retreat, humbled by the forces that shape the wild. And so the pride stands united, its strength, its bond, and its vigilance the true guardians of the savanna's future. In the wild heart of Africa, an impala stands alone, its delicate frame trembling with anticipation and fear. The air is thick with tension, every rustle in the grass a potential threat. The impala, separated from its herd, is marooned on a tiny island in the middle of a river, surrounded by the slow, swirling current. Lurking just beneath the surface, Nile crocodiles glide silently, their eyes fixed on the vulnerable antelope, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The impala paces anxiously, its muscles taut, every sense heightened by the threat that surrounds it. Driven by desperation, it finally makes a split-second decision, leaping into the river, hooves churning the water in a frantic bid for freedom. With a burst of energy, the impala dodges snapping jaws and claws its way to the far bank, collapsing in exhaustion, its sides heaving with every breath. But the riverbank offers no sanctuary. The impala, battered and weary, stands trembling, its ordeal far from over. As relief washes over it, a sudden movement in the undergrowth freezes the impala in place. From the tangled foliage, a massive African rock python emerges, its scales glinting in the dappled sunlight, tongue flicking as it tastes the air. With lightning speed, the python launches itself at the impala, jaws agape, striking with precision honed by countless hunts. The impala, drained from its escape, can barely react. It stumbles, collapsing to the ground as the python's muscular coils encircle its body. The python tightens its grip, each breath of the impala growing shallower as the constrictor's power overwhelms it. The struggle is brief, the outcome inevitable. With the impala lifeless, the python begins the meticulous process of consumption. Its jaws unhinge, stretching impossibly wide to accommodate the impala's slender head. Inch by inch, the python works its way over the impala's shoulders, muscles rippling as it draws its meal deeper into its gullet. The process is slow, requiring patience and strength. As the impala disappears, the python's body swells, distended by the size of its prey. Sated, the snake seeks a quiet, hidden spot to rest and digest, vulnerable in its engorged state. But the scent of fresh kill does not go unnoticed. A honey badger, drawn by the aroma, slinks through the undergrowth, eyes fixed on the python and its prize. The honey badger, renowned for its audacity, sizes up the situation, undeterred by the python's formidable presence. It circles the python, calculating its approach, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Suddenly, the badger lunges, teeth bared, claws slashing at the distracted python. The python, still in the midst of swallowing, is caught off guard. Its swollen body makes defense nearly impossible. Trapped between hunger and survival, the python hesitates, jaws still locked around its meal. In a desperate bid for freedom, the python regurgitates the impala, its body convulsing as it releases the half-swallowed prey. Yet the honey badger's focus shifts. The impala, now lifeless and abandoned, is no longer the prize. The python itself has become the new target, its vulnerability exposed. With relentless determination, the honey badger closes in, eyes locked on the weakened snake. In a final, ferocious assault, the badger overpowers the python. The mighty constrictor, once the apex ambush predator, succumbs to the smaller but fearless adversary. Its final meal lost, its reign ended in the jaws of another. The honey badger is a legend of the African wilderness, a small carnivore with a reputation for unparalleled bravery and tenacity. This creature embodies a spirit of sheer defiance, seemingly unaware of its own small stature. It will confront almost any other animal, from venomous snakes to the mighty lions, and even formidable reptiles. One incredible encounter saw a honey badger boldly approach a pair of lion cubs, undeterred by the presence of other predators. This immediately triggered the protective fury of their mother. The lioness charged, but instead of fleeing, the badger stood its ground, hissing and charging back, even managing to bite the powerful lioness on her tail, forcing a confused retreat. This fearless nature extends to all potential rivals and threats, no matter their size or strength. On another occasion, a honey badger was drawn by the scent of African wild dog pups hidden in a den. It approached, likely intending to make a meal of the vulnerable young. However, it was quickly confronted by the mother dog, and soon the entire pack returned from a hunt. Faced with overwhelming numbers, the badger displayed a rare moment of tactical calculation. Recognizing that this was a fight it could not win, it made a strategic withdrawal, showing that its courage is matched by a keen survival instinct. The honey badger's diet is as varied as its encounters are dramatic. It is a skilled hunter and forager, using its powerful claws to dig and its sharp senses to locate hidden meals. It has a particular fondness for eggs, and will bravely raid the nests of ground-nesting birds and even crocodiles. One badger was seen discovering an abandoned crocodile nest, where it quickly dispatched a small hatchling before feasting on the remaining eggs. Its thick, loose skin provides excellent protection, acting like a suit of armor against bites and stings. This allows it to hunt some of the most dangerous prey, including scorpions and venomous snakes like the formidable cobra. Its most famous battles are often with snakes. The honey badger has developed a remarkable resistance to snake venom, which gives it a huge advantage. When confronting a large cobra, the badger is relentless. It weathers the snake's defensive strikes, its tough hide protecting it from the fangs. It persistently harasses the cobra, waiting for an opening to strike at the back of its head. In a swift, decisive move, it crushes the snake's skull, ending the battle. But perhaps the most dramatic of all is the honey badger's encounter with the African rock python, one of the continent's largest and most powerful snakes. When a python senses the badger's approach, it coils and strikes with lightning speed, aiming to subdue its bold challenger. The honey badger, undeterred, uses its loose skin and powerful jaws to twist free from the python's grip, biting and clawing at the snake's vulnerable body. The python attempts to constrict, but the badger's flexibility and ferocity make it a difficult target to subdue. With relentless determination, the badger targets the python's head, knowing that a single, well-placed bite can end the struggle. In many encounters, the honey badger emerges victorious, its resilience and strategy overcoming even the python's strength. Even when injured, the honey badger's remarkable healing ability and pain tolerance allow it to recover quickly, ready for the next challenge. The honey badger is a true testament to the idea that in the African bush, survival is not just about size, but about attitude, strategy, and an unbreakable will. In the heart of the African wilderness, three formidable predators shape the rhythm of life and death: the lion, the crocodile, and the python. Each rules a different realm, yet their paths cross in a landscape where survival is a daily contest. On the open plains, the lion pride reigns supreme, their strength and coordination unmatched among terrestrial hunters. They move with confidence, but their power is tested at the boundaries of their domain. In the rivers and lakes, the Nile crocodile is the undisputed master. Its patience and explosive power make it a terror at the water's edge, where it waits for the unwary. The African rock python, silent and nearly invisible, lurks in the margins. Neither fully aquatic nor strictly terrestrial, it is a master of ambush, relying on stealth and constriction rather than speed or brute force. Where the territories of these predators overlap at the water's edge, a volatile tension simmers. Here, lions, crocodiles, and pythons all vie for dominance, each wary of the other's strengths. During the dry season, the shrinking waterholes become arenas of risk and opportunity. Lions and crocodiles are drawn together by necessity, while the python waits for a moment of vulnerability. The lions, bold on land, approach the water with caution. Crocodiles lurk just beneath the surface, and the python, ever patient, glides through the undergrowth, seeking the weak or the unwary. When a pride must cross a river, every step is fraught with danger. Crocodiles may strike from below, but the python too can seize a straggler, wrapping its coils in a sudden, suffocating embrace. In one tragic moment, a lion cub, separated from its mother, is caught in a crocodile's jaws. Elsewhere, a python strikes with equal ferocity, its attack silent but no less deadly. The pride can only watch as the crocodile vanishes with its victim. Sometimes the python's kill goes unnoticed until it is too late, the evidence hidden in the tall grass. The water is the crocodile's kingdom, but the python too is at home in the shallows. Both predators force the lions to tread carefully, their confidence diminished at the boundary of land and water. Yet, when crocodiles or pythons venture too far from their element, they become vulnerable. The sun slows the cold-blooded reptiles, making them easy targets for the ever-watchful lions. A basking crocodile or python, sluggish in the midday heat, may not sense danger until it is surrounded. The lions, recalling past losses, seize the opportunity. They encircle the exposed reptile, using their numbers and agility to cut off any hope of escape. Whether it is a crocodile or a python, the pride's coordinated attack is overwhelming. On land, the tables are turned, and the reptilian predators are no match for the collective might of the lions. Sometimes the python manages to catch a lion off guard, its coils tightening in a desperate struggle. But more often, the pride prevails, their teamwork and strength decisive. The relationships among these predators are a constant negotiation, alliances and rivalries shifting with every encounter, every moment of weakness or opportunity. Weakness is swiftly exploited. A moment's hesitation, a single misstep, and even the most feared hunter can become prey. An injured lioness, limping from a failed hunt, approaches the river. Both crocodile and python sense her vulnerability, each waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The crocodile launches a sudden attack from the water, while the python inches closer from the bank, ready to seize any opportunity the chaos might provide. In the confusion, the lioness is dragged into the river by the crocodile, while the python's strike narrowly misses. In this world, every encounter is a gamble, and the line between hunter and hunted is razor-thin. Here, in the African wilderness, the struggle for survival is relentless. The lion, the crocodile, and the python are locked in an endless dance of power, strategy, and fate, each predator at times both hunter and hunted. Each year, the African savanna transforms into a living river of movement as millions of wildebeest and zebra surge across the plains in the Great Migration. This epic journey is not a random wandering, but a meticulously timed response to the rhythm of the rains and the pulse of the land. Driven by the promise of fresh grazing, these herds traverse hundreds of kilometers, crossing vast grasslands, woodlands, and treacherous rivers. Their migration follows ancient routes, etched into memory by generations of survival and adaptation. The migration is a lifeline for the ecosystem. As the herds move, they trim grasses, fertilize the soil, and disperse seeds, shaping the landscape and supporting countless other species that depend on the changing mosaic of the savanna. Yet this journey is fraught with danger. The Mara River stands as a formidable barrier, its muddy waters concealing ancient predators. Nile crocodiles, some older than the herds themselves, wait in silence for the chaos of the crossing. Here the migration becomes a crucible, testing the strength and instincts of every animal. Survival often depends on unity. The sheer number of migrating animals confuses predators, offering a shield to the vulnerable. But not all species rely solely on numbers. Some depend on the wisdom of their leaders. Among the most remarkable leaders in the animal kingdom are the matriarchs of elephant herds. These wise females are the architects of their family's survival. The matriarch, often decades old, leads her herd with unmatched memory and experience. She recalls the locations of hidden waterholes, the safest migration paths, and the timing of seasonal changes. Her knowledge is a living map, passed down through generations, ensuring the herd's survival through drought, famine, and shifting landscapes. The matriarch's decisions ripple through the ecosystem, influencing the movement of other species and the health of the land. As the herd moves, the matriarch guides the youngest and most vulnerable, teaching them the roots and rituals that will one day sustain their own families. Her primary role is protection. When danger looms, she positions herself between the threat and her family, her presence a formidable barrier. Calves are kept at the heart of the herd, surrounded by a fortress of adults. This living shield is a testament to the power of cooperation and the instinct to nurture. When a pride of lions stalks nearby, the matriarch's vigilance is unwavering. She reads the land, senses the tension, and signals the herd to close ranks. If a threat escalates, she leads a coordinated defense, trumpeting, charging, and displaying the full might of her family. This unity is often enough to deter even the boldest predators. The matriarch's leadership not only protects her own, but also shapes the behavior of predators, influencing the delicate balance between hunter and hunted. The Great Migration and the wisdom of matriarchs are threads woven into the fabric of the savanna. Together they sustain the cycles of life, death, and renewal that define this wild land. Here the unexpected is always possible. A python may become prey, a honey badger may defy the odds, and the riverbank becomes a stage for epic confrontations. Every creature, from the towering elephant to the tiniest insect, plays a role in this intricate web. Their movements, migrations, and hierarchies shape the destiny of the land. In this ever-changing wilderness, survival is a story written by movement, memory, and the enduring power of leadership. The savanna's drama is a living testament to the resilience and complexity of the natural world. As the sun dips below the horizon and the savanna is cloaked in darkness, a new world awakens. For the African python, the night is not a time for rest, but for opportunity. While the day belongs to lions and eagles, the shadows are the python's domain, a realm where silence and patience are its greatest weapons. Navigating this world of muted colors and soft sounds, the python relies on senses beyond sight. Its tongue flickers, sampling the air for invisible trails left by potential prey. Special heat-sensing pits along its jaw detect the faint warmth of small mammals and birds nestled in the undergrowth. Every movement, every heartbeat in the darkness becomes a beacon to the python's finely tuned instincts. With its massive body stretched low to the ground, the python glides silently through the grass, a living shadow. It favors the cover of dense thickets and fallen logs, avoiding the open plains where it would be exposed to prowling hyenas or opportunistic leopards. Each step is calculated, each pause a moment to listen, to wait. Hunting at night demands more than stealth. It requires patience and precision. The python rarely chases its prey. Instead, it becomes a living trap, coiling its body and waiting in ambush along game trails or near waterholes. Hours may pass before a rodent or an unsuspecting bird ventures too close. In a sudden burst of power, the python strikes, wrapping its coils around its victim in a silent, unyielding embrace. But the darkness is not without danger. Other nocturnal hunters roam the night, the piercing eyes of owls, the keen noses of jackals, each a potential threat or competitor. The python must balance its hunger with caution, choosing when to move and when to remain invisible. As the moon rises and the savanna stirs with hidden life, the African python's nocturnal journey continues. Its world is one of shadows and silence, where every sense is heightened and every choice can mean the difference between hunger and survival. In these hours, the python is both hunter and hunted, a silent participant in the endless drama of the night. In the wild tapestry of the African savanna, even the formidable python is not without its enemies. While it reigns as one of the continent's most powerful constrictors, there are predators who see the python not as a threat, but as a prize. First among these is the leopard, a master of stealth and agility. By day or under the veil of darkness, leopards prowl with silent paws, their rosetted coats blending seamlessly into the dappled shadows. When a python is spotted, the leopard uses its unmatched speed and sharp claws to pin the giant snake before it can coil defensively. The python's thick, muscular body offers protection, but the leopard's persistence and powerful jaws make it a formidable foe, capable of dragging its serpentine meal high into the branches for a feast away from other scavengers. Hyenas, notorious for their cunning and teamwork, approach the python with a different strategy. Rarely hunting alone, a pack of hyenas will surround the snake, harassing it from all sides. Their relentless nips and powerful jaws wear down the python's defenses. Unlike the solitary leopard, hyenas exploit their numbers, forcing the python to expend precious energy as it tries to keep its attackers at bay. If the snake falters, the hyenas will quickly move in, tearing apart their quarry in a frenzy of snapping jaws and coordinated chaos. Above, the skies hold dangers of their own. Large birds of prey, martial eagles and crowned eagles, scan the ground for movement. With eyesight sharper than any land predator, these raptors target younger or smaller pythons, swooping down with talons outstretched. A sudden shadow, a flash of wings, and the python can be lifted from the earth, carried away to a distant perch. The python's best defense in these moments is its camouflaged scales, and the ability to remain perfectly still, blending into the tangled roots and leaf litter below. Against these threats, the python's greatest weapons are patience and resilience. When faced with danger, it may coil tightly, presenting a wall of muscle and scales that's difficult to penetrate. Sometimes, retreat is the wisest choice, slipping silently into the undergrowth or vanishing beneath the water's surface. In this land of perpetual risk and rivalry, the African python's story is not just one of predation, but of survival against all odds. For every hunt, there is a hunter. For every shadow, a lurking threat. Beneath the constant struggle for survival, the African python plays a far more subtle, yet vital role in the wilderness. It is not merely a hunter or the hunted, but a silent regulator, a keystone species shaping the delicate balance of the ecosystem. With each calculated strike, the python helps control populations of rodents, birds, and small mammals. These prey, if left unchecked, could rapidly multiply, impacting vegetation and the survival of other herbivores. By keeping their numbers in balance, the python ensures that no single species dominates, allowing grasses to flourish and supporting the vast herds that migrate across the savanna. But the python's influence doesn't end with its prey. Its presence affects the behavior of other predators as well. Jackals and servals, aware of the python's hunting grounds, may alter their own patterns, avoiding conflict or seeking out the leftovers of a python's meal. Even apex predators like leopards and hyenas are shaped by the python's silent passage, sometimes as competitors, other times as opportunists. When a python leaves behind a carcass, it becomes a banquet for scavengers, from insects to vultures, nourishing countless lives in the chain of consumption. Even the python's discarded skins serve a purpose, offering shelter for small reptiles and amphibians, or decomposing to enrich the soil. In this intricate web, the python is not just a participant, but a quiet architect of balance. Its choices ripple outward, touching every corner of the wild. In the grand design of nature, the python's legacy is not measured by the fear it inspires, but by the harmony it helps to sustain. As the seasons shift and the rains return, a new chapter quietly unfolds in the life of the African python. Deep within a secluded burrow, or beneath the tangled roots of a tree, a female python prepares for one of nature's most remarkable rituals, the continuation of her lineage. After months of growth, the female selects a hidden, humid sanctuary, ideal for nurturing new life. Coiling her massive body around a clutch of glistening leathery eggs, she begins a steadfast vigil. For weeks, she seldom moves, her muscles generating gentle warmth to shield her unborn young from the chill of the night and the dangers of the outside world. Inside each egg, a tiny python develops, nourished and protected. This period is fraught with peril. Monitor, lizards, mongooses, and even other snakes are drawn by the scent of eggs, but the mother's formidable presence wards off most intruders. Still, survival is never guaranteed. When the time is right, the eggs tremble and split. Dozens of hatchlings emerge, miniature replicas of their mother, already equipped with sharp instincts and a fierce will to survive. But their journey is just beginning. The young pythons are vulnerable, their small size making them easy prey for birds, mammals, and even insects. Driven by instinct, they scatter into the undergrowth, each one alone in a world filled with threats. Camouflage becomes their greatest ally. Their patterned scales blend seamlessly with leaves and shadows, helping them evade predators. For weeks, they subsist on small insects and frogs, perfecting the art of ambush. Only the most cautious and resourceful will see another sunrise. As they grow, so too does their confidence and their hunger. Through these trials, a new generation of pythons takes its place in the wild. Each survivor, shaped by adversity, will one day become a silent regulator in the grand tapestry of life, ensuring that the ancient cycle continues, undisturbed and eternal. Across the ancient landscapes of Africa, change is the only constant. The wilderness, once governed by predictable rhythms, now faces new and subtle shifts. Seasons grow more erratic, droughts linger longer, and sudden storms sweep across the savanna, transforming rivers into torrents and grasslands into parched earth. For the African python, these changes bring both danger and opportunity. As waterholes dry up and prey patterns shift, the python must adapt. Its incredible resilience is put to the test. Some pythons travel greater distances, seeking the cool embrace of riverbanks or the shelter of dense forest patches. Others become masters of patience, lying motionless for days, conserving precious energy until the next meal wanders by. But it is not just the python that must evolve. Antelope herds alter their migration routes, forging new paths in search of greener pastures. Birds, once abundant, now flock in unpredictable numbers, their calls echoing across unfamiliar territories. Even the crocodile and honey badger, fierce competitors in this wild arena, must relearn the secrets of survival. Amid these changes, the web of life trembles but does not break. The python's keen senses detect the faintest quiver in the undergrowth, a sign of prey or predator, opportunity or threat. Its camouflage, perfected over millennia, becomes an even more vital shield as habitats shift and familiar cover vanishes. Adaptation is the silent currency of survival. Those who can change thrive, those who cannot fade quietly from the tapestry. In the ever-shifting sands of the African wilderness, the python's story is a testament to nature's enduring ability to endure, evolve, and overcome. And so the dance of survival continues, timeless, yet forever transformed by the winds of change.